This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. Lovely. Delighted to be joined by Mr. David Haye. How are you, mate?
I'm delighted to be here. I'm good. Yeah, real good.
Now, BT Sport airing What Went Down, where they're kind of reliving three of your greatest moments in your career, your wins over John Mark Mormack, Enzo Macronelli, and also Derek Chisora. So that airs 7:45 on BT Sport tomorrow. So I've seen it. I've watched it. Was it fun, kind of reliving those moments with like Frank Warren and Adam Booth, etc.?
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice going over it and seeing it from different people's points of view. You remember the fight with Macronelli, for instance. It was just a fight that was scheduled for a purse, and I was going to turn up and fight someone. I wasn't the promoter of the event, and as such, I didn't really care too much about the promotion, because as long as I got paid what I was getting paid, which I did do bang on time and everyone's happy, as long as the training went well, that's all I was focused on. But from Frank Warren's point of view, he wanted to, obviously, he was the promoter of the event. He wanted the fighters to promote the event also. But from his point of view, I didn't do as much as I could have done in the promotion, like I've done in other fights, like I did in the Derek Chisora fight and all of my heavyweight title fights, because I was getting a cut of the pie, you know, so it was my job to make the pie as big as possible. And to hear it from Frank Warren's point of view, like, for instance, I didn't turn up at one of the press conferences because I was sleeping. For me, I didn't care because I was getting paid the same amount regardless whether I went there or not. But from Frank Warren's point of view, it was pretty annoying. You know, he's paying someone significant money to come and perform. And although I did that, there's other things that that you should have done in the lead up to it that I didn't. And looking back now, as a promoter myself, if I had a fighter that did some of the things I did, I'd be a bit disappointed as well. I'd be like, dude, come on, play the game. I'm paying you this. You got to meet me halfway. And it's nice to hear it from the promoter's point of view, because I'm now a promoter, so I know what it's like when your fighter's not pulling their weight or cancelling interviews, late doors. And, you know, every interview is a few more pay-per-view buyers. It's a few more ticket sales. And as a promoter, you're at risk. You're the guy putting the money up for the event. You're the guy who's potentially going to lose out if it doesn't sell. The fighters are always going to get paid what they're getting paid. But you as a promoter, you need to drum up the interest, drum up the news articles, the newspaper clippings. You really need to push it. And I really enjoyed that part, talking to Frank about that, you know, because I've thought about it since then. Since that point, since the fight against Macronelli, since then, I've been basically a pay-per-view fighter since then, sort of promoting my own events. So that was the last time I had a fight where I was just a boxer turning up to pick up a check. And, you know, I now feel some of Frank Warren's frustrations of me back then, you know, but that's what you get from actually growing up now. I'm 40 in a few months now. Back then I was 28 or 29. So I was a kid then, new to the game, didn't really get how it all worked. But, you know, it's nice to see the evolution of me, not only as a boxer, but as, you know, a businessman, as a boxer, a boxing manager and boxing promoter. So we go in quite to detail of the different situations that popped up in all of these different fights. And it's a different take. It's very much a different take on what you'd normally expect.
So, like I said, the show focuses around those three fights. As we're a little bit pushed for time, because I know you've got things going on today, David, but I wanted to kind of focus back onto that Chisora fight, which, I mean, the circumstances which made that fight happen were like absolutely astonishing. I mean, gobsmacking. And I think when Chisora fought Klitschko, and the news was breaking out about what happened in that press conference, which kind of led into the fight. I don't remember a situation where a fight has been pushed like that around them circumstances. It was madness.
It was a crazy time, and strangely, I went to that press conference with zero intention of fighting Derek Chisora. My whole intention was to get a fight on with Vitaly Klitschko, because that's what I'd been negotiating for months prior to that fight. So I wanted to, you know, call him out, and his manager Bunter to really like saying, let's get this fight. It's the fight everybody wants to see. And then I ended up having a punch up with Derek Chisora and Don Charles at the press conference. An absolute nightmare situation. I remember leaving that conference fuming, thinking, I can't believe this guy's made me kick off in front of all this press. I was thinking that's just couldn't think of anything worse situation to happen. And I thought, no, I'm never fighting now. Off the strength of him doing that, I'm never fighting him. Until I got back to England, and everyone's like, David, you know you got to fight him now. I'm not fighting him. I'm not fighting him. I can't believe you kicked off. I can't believe he made me do that. And like David, it's like every single person is talking about his fight. You have to fight this guy. I'm not fighting him. I want to fight for the heavyweight title. And I just remember at this point, I just lost to Vladimir Klitschko. I wanted to prove myself that I could beat a heavyweight champion. So I went after his brother, Vitaly, as Vladimir wasn't going to give me a rematch. And I kind of got forced by the public to take that fight. And then I talked to Frank Warren, and Frank was like, David, you know, this is a big fight. I know you're not interested in the fight, but just look at the news. And I'm looking at the news, looking at the interest. He went, I said, I don't have a license. Derek Chisora has just had his license taken off him for his conduct. And, you know, the Luxembourg Boxing Federation jumped to the rescue to assure this fight that everybody had to see took place. And nobody at the time gave a monkeys. They just wanted to see David Haye and Derek Chisora clash again with rules this time, with a referee at a stadium, and it did tremendous numbers, absolutely fantastic numbers. Ticket sales were great. It was a great promotion, and that for me was a great promotion. It was great to work with Frank on a promotion where we were working together, literally, sort of in conjunction. We were all pushing the fight all we could, and it did. The fight lived up to the hype and the billing. And fortunately, we're all back with the British Boxing Board of Control now. And but yeah, it was a crazy time in boxing history that I don't think will happen again. It was one of those weird things where the stars and moon aligned, because he could have been suspended and the fight couldn't have happened. But because he was given his license back, the Board of Control said fight on whatever federation you want, just not the British Boxing Board of Controls. So he was like, okay, we'll fight on this one, and it took place. So I think that they won't do that again, and it's just a strange scenario, but it worked out okay for all the boxing fans. They all got a good night's entertainment out of it.
David, I remember, like, I was getting loads of phone calls. I was out actually on a night out, and people phoning me going, Hayes absolutely lost the plot. So I'm looking through Twitter trying to find the video, and it wasn't nothing because it had just happened. So I had a few people that were there messaging me going,
oh, there was no Instagram back then, was there? There was no Instagram.
But when you look back at that situation, and I know, like, it's worked out how it worked out, and obviously you were working with Derek now, etc. But do you regret some of them actions in that press conference?
I listen. What I did, what I do, you know, it's like I don't know. I can like, if you got a pit bull and it bites someone, does the dog regret that it bit someone? It's the dog. It is a pit bull. Is exposed. It's been bred to fight, to bite. That's what it's designed to do. And if something irritates it enough, it's going to bite. Whether it's right or wrong, it reacts. And it's just at a certain time you have a reaction. If I was to live it all over again, obviously you're going to try and do something different. But maybe if I would have just turned the other cheek and walked away, that fight wouldn't have took place.
It wouldn't have.
But maybe the Vitaly fight would have done. So you don't know. You know.
Roundabouts.
Yeah, swings and roundabouts. But you know, the way it worked out how it worked out. If I could go relive my life again, I wouldn't want to do anything different. You know, you go through different paths by different decisions, some good, some bad. You know, as long as you learn from these instances. And I've had other situations in the past where I've known, as long as if I'm aware of what my natural instinct is to punch someone in the face when you feel like it's getting real, which has always been like since I was a kid. You try them thinking, okay, so if you know someone's come to get in your space in future, you think, I'm going to walk away now because I don't really need this. And I've done that on a few occasions now. As I've got older, I've seen, I remember Shannon Briggs coming up to me, and I'm thinking, let me just get away, because I know if he gets that close, I'm going to have to do something. I don't want to do something, so let's just go the other way. So you get them situations, even if you know it ain't that serious, the adrenaline starts flowing. When you get another heavyweight getting into your zone, you get into that fight mode. And it's not a good place to be. It's not a good place to be unless it's all planned out. And even when it is planned out, it all goes pear-shaped anyway, because once your adrenaline starts flowing, look what happened with me and Tony Bellew. We got into each other's face, then instinctively, he pushed me, then he punched someone. He's like, oh, How about if I'd have punched him in the eye and it ruptured his eye socket and he'd have lost his eye? I'd have been in jail. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you know what your views is, try to keep people at bay that might make you turn on.
Right, David, I'm going to cut this short now, just because I know you've got another interview lined up in a couple of minutes. So we're going to catch up again very, very soon, because I know you've got some news.
Saturday, 7:45, BT Sport. Check it out. A review of three of my favourite fights going back. Exciting fights.
Absolutely. Check it out. BT Sport tomorrow, Saturday the 30th.
There you go.
David Haye, thank you very much, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Talk to you soon, mate. Peace.